Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about new Dungeons & Dragons and the brand new Heroes of the Borderlands starter set, and how this, in my humble opinion, establishes a new edition of Dungeons & Dragons. And today we're going to talk about a major change from traditional Dungeons & Dragons, and that is a change that is specific to the monster manual. So the starter set comes out and you buy this $50 set, and it's just filled with color. It's filled with cards. It's filled with tokens, and it presents Dungeons & Dragons in a way that has never been presented before. First, no tax form character sheet and no writing, right? You can build your character by choosing this card, getting these tokens, getting this equipment, and you're not like, oh, what am I gonna, I need to write that down. I need to write down how much that cost. You just take it, right? And you just put it onto the board, onto the class board, which gives you context for the card. And it's much simpler and faster. But there's also major changes for the Dungeon Master. And one of those major changes is the 3x5 card. So the Heroes of the Borderland is echoing a major shift in tabletop role-playing games right now. And what is that major shift in tabletop role-playing games? That major shift right now in tabletop role-playing games is this idea that that cards are important, right? We recently saw this with Daggerheart. We've been seeing this happening in Dungeons & Dragons for quite a while. Many games are moving toward tokenization, toward putting as much of the rules into physical tokens, and then also representing things on cards. So this box is filled with cards, and let's be very clear, they are exactly the same size as Magic the Gathering, and that's not an accident. Magic the Gathering is canon to Dungeons & Dragons, and Dungeons & Dragons is canon to Magic the Gathering. So these cards are coming forward, and they're of the same size, right? But what was really interesting was the monsters are not. The monsters are a different size, and they are a different size of card in the box. It's essentially a 3x5, right? It's fundamentally different than the Magic the Gathering cards, and so these are different. And it is really interesting because we really haven't seen this come out before. We did see monsters presented on cards for the miniatures that came out in 3rd edition, but they were really cramped, right? And so what they're saying here is, with a 3x5, we can put the art of the beast on the back, you give it a nice clear title, but on the other side, that's perfect amount of room for a stat block, right? So this is a physical representation in the box of multiple monster manual cards, and I think it's just really fascinating what is happening with this very significant, very real movement forward for this very significant change for the PHB, the DMG, and the monster manual. This absolute drive to say Dungeons & Dragons is accessible, Dungeons & Dragons is for you, and every single thing that we've identified in the past that has kept people from playing Dungeons & Dragons, we're working around it with Heroes of the Borderland. So I believe that Heroes of the Borderland represents a hero board, the hero board D&D edition. I really think it's a new edition of Dungeons & Dragons, and a huge part of that is these 3x5 monster manual entries, which are physically in the box and can be quickly shuffled through, placed down, passed to the characters, to the players. It's so much more accessible, so much more immediate, and just gives everything at the table more a sense of urgency. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.